And welcome back. Well, in this tutorial we just want to finish some things off as far as the modelling is concerned. By now you should be at a stage whereby any part of this modelling wouldn't cause you any great problem. There are a few more things that we can do, but there is one section I'd like to show you, because when you first start out in Max you ask simple questions such as, well, how the hell do I create a straight line? How can I create a wire or a rope or even a section of pipe? And well, it does get you thinking a little bit, but the answer is quite simple. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, pop into our create, and I'm going to go to helpers. We're looking at setting up some points. We do have this antenna here to create. It actually goes from this section here to the tail section and then down into the fuselage. So we've got our points. I'm going to put on, in fact, snaps already on, which is S on the keyboard. Let's have a look. It's on snap to vertex toggle. So what I want to do is snap a couple of helpers, one there and one over here. Let's just pop down and pop in a little bit. Can we get one there? Yep. Put one just there. What's the size of this? 10.3. Yep. That's, at least that's big enough for me to see. Okay, great. Zoom out a little bit. Pull over, and I want another one. Just zoom in a tad. One about there. Lovely. Now that that's done, if we press Q on the keyboard, it actually quits, pulls us out of that. So now we can pop into shapes. Go for line. Let's just pull out so we can see both of these point helpers. As you can see, mine is playing up a bit, only to be expected. I'm tilting this so I can see this. Now I'm going to go for snap to pivot toggles. So we've got line. There we go. So we're pointing over that point 3. I'm going to snap on that. It's gone to the pivot. What I want to do now is come over here. Keep going. There it is. And let's snap to that. Right click to end the action. And now that we've created our line, you can see that over here we have quite a few more options available to us now. In particular, these two here, enable in renderer and enable in viewport. If we uncheck those two, you can see that a slight difference has occurred with, I'm just going to switch this snap off, that's S on the keyboard. You can see that a slight difference has taken place. It's not as thick as it was a moment ago. Now, with these unchecked, if we were to render this, let's have a quick render, you can see that it doesn't appear, and that's because we've checked or unchecked enable in render. If we check that and now render, there we can see it's appeared. It's now visible. So we have these checked. Enable in render, enable in viewport. We've put it in that, and again this line has become thicker, and the reason for that is down here. We've got this spline line radial. We also have it down here as rectangular. If we were to uncheck that and check that, it'd come out as a rectangular section. We want it radial because it's representing a wire. At the moment the thickness is set at 0.236 cm. We can of course adjust that. We're going to pull it down a little bit, and if we render that, we can see that this line is now thinner. That's about the right thickness for what we want for our aerial. So we'll leave it at 0.16, and we can of course leave the sides as 12 and the angle as 0. Well, what we can do is convert this now to an editable spline. Let's just close this down, open it up from the root, and we're going to select vertex. Now that we're there, let's just pop down a little bit to refine. We have a connection. If we have a look at the orthographic at the back, we have a connection up here which goes down into the fuselage. So we're on refine, we're in vertex, and we're going to create a vertex about there. And now we can press Q on the keyboard to quit from refine. I'm going to turn on snap again for a moment, so that's S on the keyboard. Switch that one off, and we're going to go to create a line. Just want to rotate around a little bit. So we've got snap on. This time I'm not using any point helpers. We're just going to connect this straight to the fuselage here. I'm looking for that section in the middle there. Oh, just one more. Left click. Now I'm looking at this point up there that we've created. Let's click that. Right click to end the action. And turn around now. Pop up to line. Press W for our select and move tool. Make sure that snap is switched off now, and hopefully that's all connected. So if we press Ctrl Z to undo that action, we can now either attach this to the fuselage or we can link it to the fuselage. So let's just go select the fuselage, let's go attach, and we can now attach our line 1 there. Well, that's about as far as I'm going to take the modelling of this Messerschmitt in this present series. I will actually do quite a few sessions as far as modelling the cockpit is concerned, but really I want to start getting on to the rigging section of it. So we're not going to be requiring the orthographic views, and we won't require the frame helpers either. But what I will do is save this file and then make a copy of it and rename it as possibly 109 rigged. Let me just press Q to get rid of the attach. Incidentally, if you want to know what the poly count is, if you pop up here and have a look at show statistics, here we go. Total polys, 118,100 verts. Frames per second, well, it's not relevant in this, but that tells you what your poly count is, gives you your statistics. Let's just uncheck that. Now, one other thing, you may in the next session encounter a few problems, or appear to encounter some problems, when it comes to setting up some of the frame helpers and working with our pivots. If you're like me, when I first started with 3ds Max, instead of pressing the delete key, I had a bad habit of hitting the D key, and that's actually a hotkey, and what it does is it disables the viewport, so therefore you're not going to be seeing some of the pivot sections. So if you're not seeing those, come back in and see. If I press D, let's have a look, it's disabled the viewport. Now if I go effect pivot only, let's select that one, effect pivot only, and if I zoom in, I'll just show you, I can't see the additional pivot that accompanies this. If I go D, there we are. Now we can see it. So D disables it. That's how we get it back. Okay, well, I know this has been a short session, but yeah, we're going to be on with the rigging from this point on. I'll catch you later.